Alright, now that our footsteps are done, we can actually use our interaction system that we've set up a long time ago. Now, on this level, there's nothing to interact with, but if we will follow this path, we will go to the second building, right here. Let me just switch to unlit, it will be just a little bit easier to work with. Here is a door frame, which does not have any door. So I think that we can start working on our interaction system a little bit more, and we can add more interactable actors, and we will improve our BP door. So let's do that. Let's go to main interactable actors, and here we have BP test and BP door. Let's open door. So here I want to make these doors locked, and we will add a key that we can find, and if we find the key, then we will be able to unlock the door. So let's create a new variable called locked question mark, compile. And from here on interact, we first set the player reference, but before opening the door, we need to make sure that they are actually unlocked. So let's just grab this locked, which should be true by default. And if it's not locked, so if this is false, then we can open close. But if they are locked, we don't want to open them. We want to first check if we have a key, and that will be super easy to do. We can do that now. In interactable actors, we can actually create new blueprint class actor called BP underscore key. And if we open it up, we can just add a static mesh. We don't even need to rename this mesh. In the game assets folder, you will have this key. So we can go to main, freedom models, create new folder, key. Here we can throw these two folders, click import, and we have our key with material. Now if we open up this material, you can see that there is a lot of mess, so we can just delete everything and grab these textures and move them here. This is base color, this is normal map, this is metallic, and this is roughness. And now if we save, you can see that our key now has a material. So we can click on the static mesh, we can assign our key mesh, and now you can see there is our beautiful key. But it's obviously too big, so let's change its scale to 0.05. And now this key is pretty small, like a key. So let's just compile, save, and how this key will connect to the doors. So let's go back to BP door, and let's create a variable called key, and this will be a type BP key. And now, very simple, when this key will be placed in the world, and if we will interact with the key, it will be deleted. We will just destroy the key. And here in BP door, we can just check if the key is valid. So if we interact with the key, it will get destroyed, so it will be invalid. Because we don't need to create entire inventory system for just one key. We can do it the simplest way I could figure out. So if we interact with the key, the game will think that we picked the key up, but we will just destroy it, and then this will be not valid. If this is valid, it means that the key is somewhere in the world, so we haven't picked it up yet. So what we can do is we can just play sound at location. If the key has not been found and the doors are locked, we can just play a sound doors locked. And the location will be world location of our static mesh, which is the door static mesh. Let's go back to event graph. So if we interact with our doors and they are closed, we check if we have key. If we don't have our key, we want to play the sound effect to give info to our player that these doors are locked. And later we will also add some subtitles, so it will just say doors locked. But if this is not valid, which means that we have key, we can do something interesting. First of all, let's just move this slightly higher because we will need a little bit more space. And from here, I will create a gate. So gate basically is like a gate. It can enter. Here we have exit, but we can also close the gate. We can uncheck this start closed so the gate is open. And if the gate is open, if we go here, it will basically just go to the exit. But if the gate is closed, it will never go to the exit. It will make a little bit more sense while we set the functionality. And this will be just super easy because if we have key, first of all, we want to play sound at location. We will play unlocking sound. Location will be word location of the static mesh. And here we have door unlocking sound effect. And here we will do a sequence because here we want to add a delay. So we will wait for this sound effect to complete, and this is something around 1.3 seconds. After the sound is completed, so we're unlocked the door, we can set the locked variable to false. And here we will just close the gate. So we will make sure that only the first time that we interact with the doors with a key, only the first time this unlocking will happen. So we're just unlocking the doors and immediately we're closing the gate so we cannot play this sound again while interacting with the doors. So when we first interact with the doors with the key, this will happen. So it will just play the unlocking sound and it will unlock the door. So the second time it will just open the door normally because they are unlocked. So let's go back to this open close event. Here we need to make sure that we need to check if they're closed, set the variable, and here we can play sound effect. So play sound at location. We'll do it here as well as here. This should be connected to reverse. Let's move this here. Now we need to get world location of the static mesh and connect it here as well as here. So when the doors are closed, we want to open them and we want to play door open sound effect. And here we want to play door close sound effect. Compile, save. And after adding these sounds, the rest of the functionality stays the same. We're not changing anything, but the only thing that we want to change is mesh because this is not fitting this door frame. And we can also make this a little bit more reusable. So we can go to construction script and here we can get the static mesh and we can set static mesh. And again, this construction script runs before the game even starts. So this runs in real time. We can plug this here and we can create a new variable, call this door mesh. And now if we go to viewport, you can see these doors disappeared because we are setting the mesh to nothing yet. So let's make sure that this is instance editable. And now by default, we can set the previous SM door as a static mesh door. All right, but if we will get this interactable actors BP door, we'll move them here and we will change the door mesh right here to this door. You can see it changed in real time and the functionality is exactly the same. The only thing changed is the mesh. So now we can just rotate them, try to position them here, rotate slightly more, move them slightly higher. Okay, so I think that's it. And we can test this out. If we will play from here, turn on my flashlight because it's hard to see in this forest. If we will interact with them, they are unlocking. So these doors were locked, but there was no key in the world. So the game thinks that we have the key, so we just unlock the door. And now when we interact with them the second time, they will just open, just like that. And if we close them, you can see that the sounds are working pretty good. But we'll go back to BP door for a second because we need to make sure that the locked and the key, these three variables, they are instance editable. So it basically means that when I click on these doors, I can change these settings for a specific instance of BP door. So for example, if I will have three different doors in this level, I can change these settings for every single instance of BP door. So these are locked by default, and here key is none, but later we will add a key that we can select here, specific key for a specific door instance. And here we can change the mesh. So if we want to, we can go back to our previous SM door, but it just doesn't look good. So let's go back to this wooden doors. So yeah, that's how we do doors.